So I just want to go back to this again. Now, first of all, why do I find it necessary to rely upon unseen forces for the power that I need to live in this world, and not upon my limited human mind? Um, Again, like I mentioned in the prior video, I come from trauma. I've have a trauma background, and I've found that as a result of trauma, I have brain damage, and I have I still have a lot of trauma embedded in my body. So I have turned to a higher power through natural law principles, and I did that about 30 years ago. I learned to live by natural law principles by surrendering to the creator. When I say the creator, I'm referring to the creator of the universe, not some petty demiurge or named creations of man. It's a spirit, and it is bigger than my human mind can comprehend, but I can comprehend it in my heart. And I've come to understand that if I live by natural law principles, then I can be in alignment with that spirit, and I have access to unlimited power, which I will go into. And as a person such as myself, with that type of background, I definitely need that access to rise above petty emotional dysfunction. I do believe that the elites set things up in this manner so that most people are simply broken shards of themselves and cannot function on a higher level, and may need assistance from unseen forces to manifest their potential. Um, there do seem to be quite a few people in the freedom movement who don't need that, but I also see a lot of people who do. So I want to create a space for the people that need assistance from unseen forces. Um, and it doesn't have to be through a religion. Honestly, that's what natural law, the beauty of natural law principles means, is that you don't need to subscribe to a religion to access this power. My experience is I simply had to surrender, which, that's not quite so simple, but I had to surrender my entire life to that power. And that was, a process of recognizing that of myself, I I could only basically do for myself, and that the having those broken shards meant that in doing for myself, I might cause harm to others. So through seeing that, I slowly surrendered to living according to natural law and trying to live putting others' needs ahead of my own selfish, small s selfish needs, and being true to my big S self. As Shakespeare says, to thine own self be true. And that was the big S self. To thine own inner compass be true. Upon entering that realm, I live by natural law principles, meaning that do unto others as I would have others do unto me. I can do whatever I want as long as I cause no harm. And I don't steal from others. I don't coerce others. I don't steal others' space. I don't steal others' property. Um, I keep my word to the best of my ability, which means that if I have to change something, I try to give people plenty of notice, so that I don't cause problems. And I try to put others' needs ahead of my own, in terms of I try to think of other people, um, and how I may be of service to them, ahead of my own selfish desires or my own fears or my own trying to get more, trying to get mine. Um, so as long as I live in accordance with that, and I did have to clean up the wreckage. I had to clean up some wreckage from living in a self-centered manner. I had stolen some money. I had broken some promises. I had coerced money, and I had lied to people, and I had to go back and make those things right so that I could start from a clean slate in natural law. And and from that point on, then once I'm living in natural law, then those amazing things happen. I have constantly serendipitous meetings and serendipitous occurrences that are magical. And I don't think the world really wants people to know about this. I don't think when I say the world, I'm talking about like consumer, man's law people, they don't, because you don't have to pay for it. It's all free. This is the free high road to freedom and working with the world, working with the earth. Um, so that's where I'm coming from. I need access to that power because of my uh, deficiencies brought about by my path, which is one of trauma. Um, so once I'm living by natural law principles, which takes some practice because we don't get taught that in school, and then I make reparations for harms I've caused, and then I set about to not cause any more harm. But if I do cause harm, then I quickly make make it right, so I can get back on the high road. Once doing that, then I go back into myself, and I make friends with the fragments of myself that um, occurred due to trauma, which I'll talk about in another video. And those parts of myself come under alignment of a higher power, which I choose to call God. It's just out of simplicity. The word God is it's just a generic term. Of course, I've known that there are certain people in the freedom movement who claim that the word God is a negative word, but I'm gonna just stick with this. It's worked for me for a long time, 30 years. It's been working, so um, I'm just gonna keep doing that for now. Um, and I picked Emmett Fox because he speaks to me. I'm not a big fan of the Bible myself, but I have come across certain authors who have been able to find the metaphysical principles in the Bible and make use of them, and Emmett Fox is one of those people. And so I was using this divine law treatment, which I'm going to go back to, because I do this now and then. I do go back to the divine law treatment, and I start to say it. I say it every night before I go to bed and in the morning when I wake up. And it elevates my heart, raises me up so that I can be always in an attitude of gratitude and always looking at what appear to be obstacles as opportunities. And this is the kind of state that I want to be in 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This is my goal. And coming from trauma, my natural attitude is negative. in the first 7 years of my life, I experienced extreme violence and betrayal from the people that were raising me. So those were the developmental years of my brain. And so my natural state is negative, where I think only shit is going to come to me and life sucks and then you die. And that's my norm. So I have to work against that. That's my path, is to work against that. And I have chosen to gain access of the Creator for that purpose. So the divine love treatment has worked for me. In one sense, I had to cleanse the outer, the exoteric part of myself first, and then go into the esoteric part. I was noticing the other day, I was watching somebody parallel park, and I noticed, we back into the parking spot and then we roll forward. And that is kind of how it works for me with regards to this. I have to back in to my spirituality through the exoteric by applying positivity and doing a superficial cleansing of my actions towards others first, and then I can roll forward from my source and go into my childhood stuff. But for me, it's worked best this way, to be able to feel safe enough to delve into the depths of my trauma, knowing that I have a relationship with that power, the Creator, and I have complete access to power through prayer. Makes me feel safe enough to delve into the depths of what feels like a life and death experience of a childhood traumatic events. They only feel that way. They aren't truly that way, but that is my ego. My ego believes that I'm experiencing life and death when it experiences those extremely uncomfortable feelings from when I was a little kid, because my brain was developing. So that being said, I have this relationship with this power, God, and I'm encouraging others who may be in my shoes to find a relationship with that power, not necessarily through any religion, just through yourself. You just simply ask for it to be revealed to you, and then wait for it to be revealed and look for its revelation in your life. And then you can simply follow natural law, making reparations for harms caused, saying you're sorry to the people that you broke your word to, paying back the money that you may have stolen, and keeping your promises, showing up on time, doing the things you say you're going to do, when you say you're going to do them. No excuses. Having an attitude of gratitude. Being grateful for what you have. I mean, I'm extremely grateful to have a roof over my head, food in the fridge, and a car to drive, and a cell phone. I don't really need much more than that, honestly. And I have so much more than that. But just to be grateful for those simple things brings me back down to the truth of what I'm here to do and what I've been given. The consumeristic world wants us to believe that we never have enough, so that we're constantly looking at what we have to buy and what we need constantly. But we actually, I can't speak for everyone, but what I've noticed is that with prayer, I'm never without. And I have numerous examples to share about that. Magical examples of when I was stuck in a situation. I think of one particular incident. I was in Saratoga Springs Performing Arts Center after a concert. My car was about a mile away, parked in some field somewhere. We had walked to it, walked from the car to the venue, and after the concert, they turned off the lights, and it was complete darkness. How was I supposed to find my car? I had no idea what to do. And I prayed, God, I need to find my car. Please help me. And within seconds, someone came out of nowhere and took my elbow and said, May I help you? And I said, I don't know where my car is. It's in lot whatever. And they said, Oh, I know where that is. And they led the way to my car in the dark with a flashlight. That to me is the power of prayer. Now, of course, I can't be cheating on my boyfriend, kicking the dog, stealing money, uh, causing havoc, keying cars, crashing into cars in a hit and run, and expect to have full access to this power. I have full access to this power because of my conduct in the world. I try to be honest. I try to keep my word. I try to do the things I say that I'm going to do when I say I'm going to do them on time. I try to have an attitude of gratitude. I try to be helpful and put others' needs ahead of my own. And as a result of that, I have this extreme access to power so that I really don't need to worry. Just the other day, for example, I was in a situation where, the temperature reader, they wanted to read my temperature. And I despise this whole pandemic thing. I call it the scamdemic personally. To me, it's probably 5G. Like I said in my previous video. Anyway, I don't want to get into that right now, but I was in a public building and the temperature reader, they wanted us to get our temperature read. And the person in front of me got their temperature read. And then the lady behind the counter got distracted and didn't notice me. And so I didn't have to get my temperature read. After I prayed, I was like, God, I don't want to get my temperature read. And look, lo and behold, subtly, it was a subtle change. I didn't have to get my temperature read. And that's how it works for me. I simply pray and things just get taken care of. So I try to cooperate with the Creator. I don't believe that the Creator wants us to follow along with this eugenics plan to wipe out 3/4 of the world's population, because that's against life. So therefore, I have the whole universe behind me in my prayer life. And so I'm using this treatment for divine love. It could be, I listened to Mark Passio's podcast on fake ass Christianity and the bullshit New Age movement. And I completely agree that psychological operations were infiltrated into both of these groups. However, I also believe that a lot of what is true of Christianity and the New Age, these there's things about them that are true and useful and can be found in these old treatments, and using them to raise your vibration can be helpful while also knowing what is going on the other side. So as you noticed, I did contradict myself because I said that I perfectly understand what divine love is. I have conscious realization of divine love. The love of God is in me for all humanity. Okay, yes. The love of God is in me for all humanity, and for animals, and for rocks, and for elementals. I am a lamp of God radiating divine love to all whom I meet, to all whom I think of. I forgive everything that can possibly need forgiveness. Positively everything. I will say that I personally do not feel that I have the power to forgive everything. I give that power to the higher power. I can act out of forgiveness by correcting my mistakes to the people that I held grudges against, and therefore performed just what I felt at the time was justifiable actions against them. So if I pay the money back, or go and talk to them and say, I'm sorry for breaking my promise, or, and then ask them, what I can do to make it right, to balance the books, then those are acts of forgiveness. And so I just trust the higher power to make forgiveness happen through me. And then I don't have to think about it too much or do it, because I literally don't feel like I have the power to do it. Divine love fills my heart and all is well. That's what I need the most. Divine love fills my heart and all is well. I need to know that even though the shit is hitting the fan, there's extreme cruelty, animals are being tortured, people are being tortured, the earth is being polluted. Right here, right now, where I am, all is well. And I am actually powerless over these acts. As much as I don't want to admit that, I have a car, and petroleum is gleaned from the earth in an extremely destructive way. As long as I'm driving a car, I am participating in the destruction of the earth. I'm utterly powerless over this. I just have to admit that. And I have to state the contradiction to all that all is well. I now radiate love to the whole universe, excluding no one. So I radiate love to the whole universe, excluding no one. Once again, I'm going to do this through the filter of God. I'm going to state that I'm going to do that, and I'm going to trust that just like the seed buried in decaying humus in the earth that may be made of decaying animals, this is part of life on the third dimension, death and decay. And in that dark shadow that is cast by the pattern that makes matter created, there is incredible evil being perpetrated on animals, on children, on people. I know all about this from Mark Passio's work and from just watching the news. I mean, I don't watch the news, but I get dribbles of it. This stupid Jeffrey Epstein, like they kicked him to the curb, right? And then his girlfriend, or whatever her name is, I can't remember her name right now, and the chick from Albany, New York, from that cult. I mean, and then all the countless other people, the Hempstead cover up, the thing in Nebraska with the children, just all the pedophilia. This is all extreme evil. I don't know why it exists. I don't know why it has to exist. I know that it does exist. I've done my due diligence to expose myself to what is actually going on around here so that I understand what's going on around here. And now I have to raise my vibration. I now radiate love to the whole universe, excluding no one. I experience divine love. I demonstrate divine love. I thank God for this. So it is simply a contradiction. And for myself, I'm not going to be of any use to anyone if I plummet into negativity over this stuff. I've tried this out. I've talked to people about what's going on, and then we just end up throwing our hands in the air and using it as an excuse to keep on doing the stupid things we do. So that's obviously not the solution. The solution is to know all this stuff and have a positive attitude and be creative and raise your vibration. And for me to pray to God for power and for divine intelligence so that I can come up with creative solutions to situations and problems. Because that to me is what I'm doing here. I'm not going to speak for anyone else, but for me, it is to clean out my spiritual channel so that I can embody the divine principle and be like a giant sewing needle where I sew divine intelligence to the earth with my body and my mind. That's all for now. Peace.